If you play as a striker, there's an opportunity to change your game by playing out to in, having different movement to create opportunities. Now, typically, lots of strikers, like the Ronaldos and Kanes out there, play very centrally, flanked by two wingers. And playing as this lone striker in the 4-3-3 and 4-2-3-1 can be a lonely position. And when playing in these positions, these strikers can receive the ball under pressure. Their back is to goal, they've got a defender coming through the back trying to win the ball, and they're being forced away from the goal. Not necessarily a position that any attacking player wants to be in. And this is largely because they are positioning themselves in the centre of the pitch, with two centre-backs potentially behind them, giving them a chance to go and force the striker when they're receiving the ball and push them in the direction away from the goal. And if the striker does get the ball and get a good first touch, to receive it and turn is very difficult, especially turning and then beating the defender. And these attackers are quite often receiving the ball with their back to goal because they're receiving it in the central area of the pitch. The centre-backs are very comfortable here. They can force you away from goal. But what you need to be working on as an attacker is looking at the out-to-in movement. This out-to-in movement gives you a much better opportunity to be a threat and make things a lot more difficult for the centre-backs. It's going to give you many more opportunities to get through and goal and get chances to score. Now, being in this position of out-to-in, it forces the defender into a tricky situation. If the attacker pulls out wide, out of this central area, the defender has a choice to make. Do they go and pressure the attacker, or do they sit in that central area? And this is why it's so difficult for a defender. They're no longer controlling the situation. You are starting to do that as the attacking player. Now, moving out slightly wider can pull the defender away from the centre of the pitch, allowing you then to go and attack the space that they have vacated. And a player like Ronaldo will do this quite often. Good movement off the ball creates opportunities at another point. But also being in this position can isolate the defender in a 1v1 situation, allowing the attacker to get the ball, and now instead of receiving it facing away from goal, they can face the goal. And in this situation, they can take the defender on with a couple of options. They can attack on the outside, or they could potentially cut inside onto their favoured foot and get a good shot away on target. So being in this out position gives the attacker a chance to get more shots away on target. So the benefit to the attacker is that they can get in a better position to get on the ball and then go and affect the game, rather than having a battle against the defender, where their back is against them and they're holding up play. But a really good thing or way of thinking about playing in this out-to-in movement is using the half space more. Move into the half space where you're away from the defender and there's a better chance you can receive the ball into feet. And then getting into this half space can also help the attacker in making runs off of the ball. And this is vital. By playing in this half space area, it gives the attacker better opportunity to make different types of runs and stay on side. Now, if you're too central, it's really difficult to time the run correctly. You might be right close to the last defender, and to run through and go and time it well is very difficult. And that's why there's lots of offsides. But if you start in a wider position, it's easier to make a run from out to in along the line of the defence and then break through when it's your time. And the top players out there will use these runs in behind to really make a lot of chances for themselves. It gives them a good opportunity to time their run, but also if they're not running in behind, receive the ball in space away from that centre-back in a position where they can face the goal, which makes it a lot easier for the attacker to go and show what they can do. Getting drawn into that physical battle, facing away from goal, is incredibly difficult for the attacker. So you want to make sure that you're trying to get into out-to-in positions, and then you're going to have more opportunities to score and create.